Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to Ruler Waves 2. So, updating my spreadsheet with all the information that is provided to me in the almanac of enemy ship designs. This is the design I've decided to come up with for our first Dreadnaught Battleship. From what I could see, most of the enemies, at least based off the information I know for the various battleship designs of the enemy, a lot of them are running around with about 9 inches of belt armor. There's a couple with 9.5, and there's two, one designed from the French and one designed from the Russians, that have 10.5 inches of belt armor. Currently, we can't quite pen 9.5 inches. In theory, we can, because these values are, technically speaking, averages. The actual value is anywhere from plus minus 20% to my understanding. So in theory, at 5,000 yards, I think we would be able to penetrate the belt armor of a ship with 9.5 inches of belt armor. Once you get to 10.5 for SOL, I can't pen that. But at the very least, I'd be able to, in theory, at 5,000 yards, pen a battleship with 9.5 inches of armor, in theory, with 14-inch quality -1 guns. We will eventually get better quality 14 caliber guns. But for now, this is what we have. So I think this is a decent design. It is very time consuming to build. This is the thing with a lot of these big capital ships, they take forever to build, and thus, you don't want to get rid of them ever, because if you get rid of them, well, that's 31 months in this case wasted on building a ship. So you tend not to scrap them that often. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have scrapped those Colorados that I had scrapped previously. They would have been potentially useful in this war, but, I didn't expect to be drawn into a war right now. I thought I had more time. I may be able to get a couple of my New Mexicos out, but those are still, like 14 months out? Let's go ahead, spend 4 months to get a Wyoming out. Well, to design a Wyoming. And yeah, 13 months for our New Mexicos. As they continue to pour more and more stuff into... I'm gonna go and steal some of those clusters that I have stationed in the Caribbean, because I don't need so many of them there, evidently. Game, you say I have 14 DDs there. Okay, that is technically accurate. I'm gonna take 6 of them and move them to the East Coast, because I need all the help I can get. Now, we're not going to be building that Wyoming probably until after this war, would be my guess. Jesus Christ. No. That I'll accept. Okay, well, this is fine. I was like, the convoy's going north. I assume I guess it's heading to the northeast. Or, excuse me, the east coast of the US. The enemy should only have destroyers. Typically, these convoy defenses, you only fight destroyers, particularly when the enemy doesn't have a large fort. They probably only have a couple of destroyers at most. Ernies are basically nothing. They have 2-inch guns, so they can outrun me annoyingly. Their destroyer division misunderstands the signals. I'm just going to press E so the game doesn't keep pausing. And it'll pause on its own when something happens. Or when I tell it to pause. Now, in theory, I probably shouldn't be completely abandoning the convoy, but I'm 99% certain that I don't have anything to worry about beyond this destroyer. Because also the enemy typically doesn't attack from multiple directions. Typically the fleets come from a single direction, maybe a little bit from the surrounding. But yeah, in this case, it's a reasonably safe bet that this destroyer is all they have this battle. An issue is catching up to the damn thing. Although at the rate it's going to eventually hit the Dominican Republic, and I might be able to force it to turn south. And I'd be able to cut it off in that case. Send the larger of the two destroyer divisions south. Hopefully be able to intercept them when they eventually are forced to turn, hopefully to the south. Plan at least. Lost identification of the ship. Please go south. If they win. You guys keep heading north. Started turning back on you for some reason. Destroyer Division 3 sucks. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. They keep misunderstanding signals. They seem to be the only one who frickin' does it. I don't think Division 2 has done it at all. There we go. Now we got them caught. More specifically, they got caught on the geometry. The island here, which is fine. You guys, you know what? If you got a torpedo shot, feel free to do it. There's actually really no reason for me to tell you no. Also, slow down. Turn north. And then around. I imagine one of you guys does actually have a shot, right? No? Really? None of you at all? That's actually somewhat surprising. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to hit anyway, you know, I would expect you guys to have a shot. Well, if he didn't get stuck on the geometry, he might have had a shot that time. And he has definitely not taken heavy damage if he's still traveling at 20 knots. He would legitimately not have a solution. It was actually weird. Take the shot. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to hit, but I was hoping it would. There we go. Hit it and sunk in. Yeah, they only had the single destroyer. There we go. We get a win under our belt, finally. That helps to close the gap a little. And our budget increase is wonderful. Blockade continues. And Germany joins the war. For whatever reason, Germany decided to join the war. Well, in theory, when we win this war, I might be able to actually take something that I want. Because the Germans joined. Also, I forgot to start my day. So I gotta sink some of their stuff. I have everything that I can... Not necessarily literally everything, but I have a lot of stuff in the North American East Coast, and I still don't quite have larger numbers in them here, which means they continue to blockade us, which means I'm gonna have to deal with unrest rising eventually. I'm gonna move my subs to unrestricted, because there's basically no reason not to. I'm also, I think, gonna queue up building more subs. 14 turns for those, that's fine. Cruiser action, yay! Hey, I actually get 2 freaking light cruisers this time, which means they probably have like 20. You know, if it's anything like the last time. So, I think I'm just going to avoid giving them the satisfaction. I didn't give them the free automatic points. If they want to come for me, they're going to have to chase me. Also, feel free to do it at a nice leisurely pace of cruising speed. Nope. Nobody gets points because we failed to engage. Sure, yeah. Really? Around Guam? Are you sure about that game? I mean, sure, maybe if you include the British. Well, apparently the Germans don't have any troops there, really. That is... at least. Okay. Accelerate that design. Build me more Jarvises. 5. In theory, I probably should design a new armored cruiser. That's what you want to go with. I mean, not the worst. Personally, again, I'm going to say no to the torpedoes. I just don't use my armored cruisers often enough in close enough proximity to take advantage of torpedoes. Let's give you some extra ammo to the 150. Are 9-inch guns better? No. But 11's on you. I could. Did a significant enough improvement. At 11,000 yards, you go to 5. You go to 4.9. Yeah, that's a decent improvement, though. I struggle to... Okay, well, the game says that has to be a battle cruiser, so no thanks. 10-inch guns are the largest, actually. I forgot. I forgot that 10-inch guns are the largest you can have. Okay, then. I kind of need to save space somewhere on here. I say that as I immediately proceed to take the ship overweight, because I believe to get dual-purpose guns, they need to be at least... I believe 4, 5, and 6 inches are dual-purpose guns. Or it can be. I think 6s get it first, though. Take the secondaries down to 7-inch. Tertiaries up to 6 so that they can get it. Like I said, I believe 6-inch guns get dual purpose first. Can I get you up to 5? I could. That's too a little close. The ship will probably have to go through a replace machinery to be able to fit any major refits in the future, but I think I'm okay with this. Although 24 months to build, god. Yeah, again. Ships are expensive. A fleet invasion battle. I'm still blockaded, so that should be them attempting to invade me. And we send out our entire fleet for this. Now to succeed, I only need to sink transports. If I sink any of their battleships or anything else like that, that's a nice bonus and will potentially allow us to no longer be blockaded. But strictly speaking, the primary target is the enemy transports. We have our new Jarvises out. Well, you know, at least a couple of them. Along with our ancient frickin' Illinois. So the enemy looks to be to the south somewhere. We're gonna configure our formation to south. Well, southeast-ish, not straight south. Well, maybe I actually should probably send a couple of guys straight south. Yeah, actually, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually go straight south. Or at least as close as we can get to straight south without me taking forever to actually manually adjust the course. Lost sight of those guys. Send Light Cruiser Division 9 straight west. Hopefully run into them again. I'm guessing this is where they need to make landfall, which is a weird place to make landfall, but so be it. Southwest. Again, because they seem to need to make landfall here is my guess. I don't want to get too far away from up here. Spotted a couple of ships. And that would definitely be a line of transports. So make sure my destroyers are not set to just fire torpedoes willy-nilly. And we have found what we are looking for. Straight west. I don't know where their fleet is, but they're probably a little bit further south. We might guess, but we're gonna try and sink as much of these things as we can. There's some destroyers. They're the slightly more recent Saracen classes. They actually upgrade their guns to actually usable 4-inch guns. I say actually usable because, you know, the shitty 2 inches that they used on that other destroyer we sunk down the Caribbean, yeah, Those are worthless. They serve literally no purpose other than to say, hey, we put a gun on it. Sure, you did. You just can't use it. Because it can't do anything. Somebody opened fire. I heard shots. My guys are not noting who they're firing on. So I'm assuming my guys are not the ones shooting right now. Okay, here we go. Columbia has opened fire on the Calliope over here. This is a starting design of theirs. 10 4-inch guns with a 2.5-inch belt. At 5,000 yards, you would be able to easily, pretty much guaranteed, bend their belt. But that requires getting you right on top of them. They're currently just at the edge of your firing range, which puts them at about 10,000 yards. I probably shouldn't. Realistically, I probably shouldn't. But I'm going to. I'm going to have the Columbia, the Memphis, and the Huron go a little bit further south. Still have not found their battleships. But I have a line of light cruisers heading straight for my battleships, which I'm not a fan of. Okay, there's their battleships. Again, it's sadly far too early for us to have aircraft. If we did, this would be so much easier. There we go. We found their battleships. Know where they are. We don't have our fancy New Mexicos out, so again, our only real choices to do any damage to their battleships is torpedoes. Which, yeah, good luck with that. Persian class is a knockoff of one of mine, more or less. Battleships seem to be heading to the east for some, which I'm not a fan of. Look at that line, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's what we have to put up with. Is a massive frickin' line of battleships from the frickin' I was about to say Germans. The British, excuse me. Don't know why I was thinking Germans. I know they just joined the war, but I don't know why I was thinking Germans. What are you firing at? You're firing on. No, guys, fire on the transports, please. Fire on the transports. We need to sink those. I mean, they should be easy to sink. But I want to make sure we sink those. Battleships seem to be turning back north now. Magnificents are heading east. The Ansons continue to head north, and one of them looks to have their front turret disabled. Not sure if it got hit by something or if it's just a standard. They tried to fire it and nothing happened. They did not end up with a big boom. Shit, did you just fire both of yours? You did. And they missed. They weren't duds, but they missed. And that's almost just as bad. One of my light cruisers. Up. You guys have any shots? Particularly on battleships. Regent, I just need you to survive a bit longer. I hate when the game decides to redo your damn formation just because a ship got damaged. It really screws with everything. I wish it wouldn't do that. There, you have a shot at that one. The McCall is somewhere else. Aha, we hit it. Wonderful. Rayton, do you have a shot? I don't think you do. Reed, do you have another shot at anything? No you don't. Oh, I forgot about the Jarvis here. Shot at that guy, take it. What about the 10? Another hit on an Anson, wonderful. McCall. That guy's like right on top of you. You do have a shot, wonderful, take it. Missed. I probably should take a glance at everybody else, make sure they're not screwing up, but yeah, I'm just not doing that right now. I think the Drayton's down, right? Yep, pretty much. I took a hit. Sinking, but yeah, so Illinois. Break off. Don't go AI controlled though, because then you're just suck at everything. And just lost a bunch of destroyers because of too much shit going on, so everybody's ramming into each other. You have a shot at that one, but okay, you know what? Let's try it. I don't expect it to hit though. Well, apparently it did. So, you know, great. We still have failed to sink any of their battleships. Jersey and Co. are still struggling to get into a formation of some sort. I'm gonna have you go to the east. That looks to be the best bet you have of getting out of this mess. Can you fire a torpedo before you officially sink? No. Jarvis is a turn around. I want the Burrows to turn around. McCall, go back north. Illinois is slowly getting its flooding under control. Some of these guys are actually very badly damaged. Now, traveling at only 5 knots is an indication that they are badly hurt. No. Any of my guys that are firing torpedoes willy-nilly, please stop. Well, I think that was them. I think that was that Cossack there that fired it at the, Frederick there. Go north. Damn it. Well, the McCall was already out of torpedoes, so you know what? I don't really care that much. San Francisco, do you have a firing arc on this guy? Friendly ship in line, really? Okay. Oh, well, it's that one I wanted you to shoot at anyway. Okay, looks like it's going to rely on the Chattanooga now. In the meantime, Perkins. Looks like he got a bit of a turkey shoot here. That ensign's heavily damaged. I kind of want to go for the Royal Oak. The Magnificent there. Oh, we hit you. Wonderful. You have a shot at the Magnificent? No. I assume you don't either. Actually, you do. You have a shot at that ensign. Do, but I don't expect you to hit. Pretty sure he's turning. You have a shot at the Magnificent, so you take a shot as well. One of you is bound to hit. And Memphis took a torpedo. We're gonna take heavy damage, but you know what? If I can sink some of their frickin' battleships, I think I'll survive. Where's my battleships out of curiosity? I kind of lost track of them in the whole mess here. And, you know, me being focused on trying to sink their battleships. Okay, Perkins, north, out of here. Memphis, north, out of... northwest. Burroughs, you got another torpedo. Fire at the Royal Oak, and then get the hell out of there. Game says light damage. I call BS. San Francisco's broken. Somebody else just fired a torpedo at an ensign. I don't know who. I don't think anybody else should be firing it anyway. Was it the Cincinnati? Yeah, I think it was. Got a Magnificent here. Anybody with torpedoes? The Chattanooga has one, but I don't know which side it's on. I'm gonna break the Cincinnati off of you. Because it's just slowing you down and they need to get out of here. Turn our battleships north. At the Drake here. No idea how badly damaged it is. But it is only going 10 knots with a max speed of 18, so I think it's hurt. It just can't say for certain how badly. So technically the San Francisco should be trying to get out of there, but it's failing miserably at the whole getting unstuck thing. It doesn't have any firing arcs. Memphis has a torpedo. Can you fire at the Royal Oak there? You don't have a... Now that he's heading away from you, I'm pretty sure you're never going to have an arc, so... Just continue trying to get out of there. Seattle, you have a shot? Maybe. No? Well, if you do, you're on the wrong side. And Burroughs just went up in flame. side was it for you that... Okay, yeah, so the right side starboard. Your torpedo... Well, your torpedo was on the starboard side, or on the port side, but now you have another one on the starboard side, so you know what, this is fine. Where are my battleships again? Ah, yes. I'm trying to get the hell out of Dodge, because they're sort of in the middle of all the enemies. Where is that one? Because I have not been paying attention to my... Oh, there they are. Yeah, you guys get out of here. Along with you, Fanning, although I'm pretty sure you still have a torpedo, right? You still have all yours. You still have all yours. Jarvis still has most of his. Well, most of its, rather. Whatever. No. Cincinnati. Get out of here. Oh, the Magnificent turned south. Damn it, I wasn't paying attention. I was busy. Linking up with the Royal Oak, which is supposedly heavily damaged, but I don't think that's quite accurate. Okay, Chattanooga just fired its torpedo. No, it didn't. There we go. One Magnificent down. I have no idea where the transports went. Oh, they've all screwed off to the southwest. I'm gonna, I think, take the Columbia and try and sneak them southwest and then back up to the north. Yes, and you guys have torpedo. And what the hell's the Californian doing? Oh, it rammed it. It better got rammed. Fine. Get that Royal Oak. Cincinnati, do you happen to have a shot at that Drake? No, because it's on the other side. Cincinnati, just get out of here. Just go north. Yes. Oh. Run, yeah. You keep going for those transports. I'm fine with that, I think. Seattle, you keep going. And Chattanooga, water jam. This is going to be a very, very bloody battle. Turn to the south at all. Minimize your risk of actually getting hit by those torpedoes. San Fran is sinking. I mean, I'm not surprised by that game. I'm surprised it took so long for you to say it. Not so much that it happened. But it's going to get one last salvo out of a torpedo on that Anson. And it missed. But somebody's torpedo hit an Anson. Sure as hell was not yours. And I don't think it was yours. So, I don't know who fired a torpedo at an Anson, but somebody fired a torpedo at an Anson. And apparently, hit. Orbital speed. Well, that would be why you would load speed it, because the damn thing just stopped in the middle of the ocean. I don't know who fired a torpedo at an Anson, though. So I don't think any of my other guys are really near an Anson. Cincinnati do it? Maybe, they are missing a torpedo, but I think they were already missing one before, so that's a little weird. Illinois needs to get out of there, but it's it's struggling. It really is. Chattanooga, are you still jammed? You are. Somebody fired a torpedo. Had the very distinct shh sound of a torpedo being fired. Well, that Anson's on fire, so it ain't going anywhere. Guys, move the torpedo. Okay, you're not gonna be able to fire your torpedo. Never mind then. The Friedrich on fire. No, it's also kind of refusing to sink. I mean, technically it is sunk. You know, it's not going anywhere, but it kind of refuses to admit it. And your forward gun is disabled and your rear one is destroyed. And while you do have secondaries, I don't know what the range is of them. Range of it is, but it's probably not that great, all things considered. So we're gonna hurt from this, but we're gonna also have made sure that they hurt. Because we've sunk a Magnificent. Safe bet that Anson's gonna sink. I could have sworn we sunk another Anson somewhere. That one I think is also gonna sink. So, you know, they're gonna hurt from this. No matter what. But I don't know if we're gonna come out on top or not, really. At least not when it comes to battle casualties. That's heavily damaged. Probably gonna sink. California hit by a torpedo. Oh, California probably ain't getting home then. Where's California? Oh, California sunk. Game, you know, didn't mention that bit. I don't really have anything I can do to save the New Jersey and Ohio. Those guys are probably going to be screwed, to be honest. Really just a question of if they can take anything else down with them. Only at about 200 time elapsed. You guys need to go further west. You're going a little too far northwest. When I actually get home. You need to turn south a little bit. Decatur, you just keep going. Keep going east. That is literally your safest bet. Just keep going east. I'm gonna chase after the mission objective of the transports. With my battleships as well. Though they're unlikely to catch up anytime soon. They're also annoyingly going to be dragging the enemy with them. And your turrets are still fucked. Battleships seem to have mostly given up on my battleships, which is... In fact, their fleet kind of looks like it might be turning to go home. Which, I mean, if they are, great. Now, if they've decided, okay, we've taken quite a bit of damage, we're going home, then I won't complain. I thank you very much for deciding to admit defeat. Yeah, Seattle's not going to help. It's not able to get its front turret back up, and the rear one is destroyed. So we're just going to send the Seattle home. The Columbia continues to attempt to make its way over here, but it's kind of slow anyway. Max speed at 21 knots. Which, I mean, is okay, but it's still kind of slow, to be honest. Break. Oh, there are other battleships turning back to come for me. And it looks like they might be. That'll keep going home. Chattanooga. Oh, Seattle. Are you trying to get yourself killed? I think you are. You don't need to go out in a blaze of glory, trust me. In fact, I'd much prefer you don't. Jersey's 50% of its ammo used. Ohio's probably not that far behind. We continue to hit the Drake superstructure. Well, not necessarily its superstructure, but we continue to hit the Drake. Not doing much. The game claims heavy damage, which may or may not be accurate. It's supposedly traveling at 15 knots, so I don't think we are actually doing nearly as much damage as it seems to think. That transport is safe to say is sunk. Or at least it will be shortly, because it's down to 5 knots, which indicates that it is pretty heavily damaged. Seattle, turn south. Get out of there. You're just gonna have, even though you can't use your weapons for anything. Okay, I'm sight of them now. Well, at least shortly. That Drake is still trying to gain on us. Which is definitely going to gain on us since it's traveling at 15 knots. We cap out at 14. Until night falls, it's very unlikely that we're going to actually be able to... Because it's twilight right now. Technically, that still provides reasonably sufficient light. Eventually, we will get to... And I think then maybe my battleships will finally lose sight of theirs. But most of their battleships seem to be turning off, along with their armored cruisers, but the Drake... Well, the Drake, one of the Drake classes, I think they only had the one, but I don't recall, and a Pelorus continue to chase after us. There we go, Drake seems to be breaking off, and it has apparently caught fire. Wonderful. the transports. I don't think any of their transports escaped to the north, so I don't think their invasion will be successful. Seattle, go west. Have no problem escaping now. Now, I've sort of lost track, sadly, now, as a result of this, of all of their transports. All I know is they were sort of heading south-ish, and they were down here somewhere. And unless I manage to spot them again. This engagement is probably going to be over. That's probably them right there. Actually, that one's probably a destroyer. Yes, go to Portland. Yeah, the one that was over here is probably a destroyer, would be my guess. Seriously? You can't identify that ship. It is 900 yards away. Take out your damn binoculars. I know it's dark out. There you go. You claim it's a transport, and that is apparently accurate. That might be the transport that I was sending the Huron after. We're gonna break off. The threat. Back to Portland now. Cater is gonna head south. Can try and make its way to Portland. Double check that everybody's heading at max squadron speed. Indeed they are, but you know, that's single digits for a lot of them now. And big guns are firing. My battleships. The light cruiser got just a tad bit too close and we managed to identify it eventually. No. Columbia, go north. Chattanooga, you keep heading south. Huron, you head a little bit more to the east. Or to the west, rather. Oh shit, that's a... I was hoping it was a transport. Actually, apparently it was a destroyer. How did you manage to screw that up so massively, guys? That you confused a destroyer for a light cruiser. Oh boy. Well, I think the rest of their transports are probably going to get away now. That's a destroyer. And I don't think any of their guys managed to make a landing. I'm pretty sure we got all of them. We managed to force them all to break off to the south fairly early on. And managed to more or less keep them heading in that direction. I mean, maybe one made landfall, but I would really hope that even just a single frickin' transport is not going to be able to put up any serious resistance and would be immediately crushed. Especially since, you know, presumably the army would have been informed that, hey, they're making landfall somewhere in Maine. We don't know where, but somewhere in Maine, and would be able to try and locate likely landing sites and start deploying troops to defend those. And so even if a single transport managed to make landfall, it would just immediately run into a relatively fortified position set up by the US Army. In theory, that's the way that should work. Yeah, okay, I'm going to send the battleships back home. They're too slow to be able to engage in anything right now. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to find the rest of the transports. They managed to sneak off somewhere. Yeah, no. Those definitely are not transports. Cater is probably going to be sunk now. Yep. Really, the Cincinnati is sinking. Did you have a bulkhead breach? You must have. And yet the game says you can speed up to 10 knots. Well, you're sinking anyway, so just get as close as you can, I guess. In theory, it'll make it easier to rescue the crew, if you can get closer to the coastline. A little bit further south of Memphis. Not much, just... It's possible they had a transport mixed in there and I just did not identify it, so we're gonna risk the Columbia, Huron, and Chattanooga. See if we can identify anything else there. I know something was labeled as a battleship. I don't know if there's anything else in there. Jersey spots an unknown ship. Probably a light cruiser or a destroyer would be my guess. You know what, guys? Head to sort of where I think they were trying to make landfall, which was kind of over here-ish. And we'll just sort of see. Seattle, you need to go further north. Yes, got it. Game. If I'm sending people over here, there's a half-decent chance that they are probably trying to dock. Especially if they're already damaged, if they're a destroyer that's out of torpedoes, things like that. Yeah, they're probably heading home. And it's not a case that I forgot. I don't know where exactly landfall was supposed to be. Burrow ran aground. That presumably doesn't destroy it, that just means it's going to be out of commission for a tad bit longer. Okay, well, I don't know where they were trying to make landfall exactly, but my guys are not apparently spotting anything. Day is about to break. So it would be much easier to spot them if they are here. Back north. Double back, now that it's daylight out and you can actually see shit. Just double check that they were not making landfall up here. Also, why would there be a naval invasion? New Brunswick into Maine, just frickin' march the army in. No, why would you do a naval invasion? It is a lot of extra work. I mean, I can understand potentially as a side effect, well, not as a side effect, but as a secondary objective, you would attempt a naval invasion. But, you know, as a way of supporting the ground troops by flanking, but not as your primary objective. I'd be marching the army in as the primary force. So we lost a battleship, an armored cruiser, 2 light cruisers, and 6 destroyers. We destroyed 4 of their battleships, 8 of their destroyers, and 6 of the auxiliaries, which are the transports. Heavily damaged 2 of their battleships to my 1. Lightly damaged 2 of my battleships to their 4. One of their battleships did manage to escape unscathed, apparently. I'm curious as to which one it is. It apparently managed to escape with no damage. Looks like it was the Resolution, which is a Rodney class. I don't really want to close that game. I want to move the map. Fine. Really? And annoyingly, if I press close, I cannot reopen this as far as I can tell, which is very annoying. I really wish I could. So sunk the Anson. My California got sunk their Centurion, sunk their Revenge, sunk the Victorious. Spread this stuff out. Rounds fired. All remaining. This is heavy hits, medium hits, light hits, torpedoes, bombs, and survivors picked up, I think. Yeah, survivors saved. Who had the best hit shot, or hit chance anyway, out of curiosity? The Seattle, apparently. Fired 98 rounds, 63% of its ammo is remaining. It scored 16 hits for a 16.33% hit percentage. That is not a great hit percentage. This is damage points, the amount of damage it took. So the Victorious took the most amount of damage, which is interesting considering it only took 6 medium hits and 2 torpedoes. I'm assuming those torpedoes did a lot of damage, because for it to take an extra 2,000-ish damage points compared to the Centurion, which took a heavy hit, is a little surprising, to be honest. So this should have hurt them quite a bit, but it also hurt us a little. I gained 9,000 victory points, and they gained 5,000. Enemy invasion averted. Battle of Monhegan Island. Our new training has been applied, finally. Latest army offensive has turned into an unmitigated disaster. Enemy gains 1,000 VP. Thanks, game. Don't let them off lightly. And President is persuaded by senior generals to scuttle peace negotiations. And, okay, I'm apparently no longer blockaded. And the invasion of New Brunswick was delayed due to unfavorable weather. Japan gains 150 VP for us. Wonderful. So, we're ahead, just barely, by 300 VP. That can easily be changed by a single battle. My timer has not gone off yet, but there's about 5 minutes left, and I don't know how long I was going before I started the timer, so we're going to go ahead and end this part maybe a little bit early. I'm not quite sure. Oh no, supposedly I'm still being blockaded. Okay, game, yeah, sure. But apparently our invasion of New Brunswick was not delayed or scrapped because we're blockaded, but rather because of bad weather. That implies that in theory I should be able to go, I would think. But apparently not. Apparently not. 10 more turns before we start getting our new Mexicos out, which will be useful. Then we start placing all of those with our fancy new Wyomings. But I think that's going to be it for this part. I don't think there's going to be any updating to the Almanac. I don't think anybody's pushed anything new out, at least nothing that warrants... Actually, I don't think I have the Drake. I should, though. Do I have the Drake? Out of curiosity. No, I do, okay. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else I really need to add to the, my spreadsheet, so I'm probably not gonna have to, I should not have to update this at all. So, don't know anything about their subdivision of damage. Oh, also, since we're at war with Germany, I probably should, you know, kick up my intel efforts on Germany to I. Because why not? So that's going to be it for this part. Next part, we will continue this war that'll probably go on for ages and ages and ages because fighting the British is a pain in the arse. The only time I've had a successful war as the US against the British is when I had the Russians involved and I was able to blockade the Russians. Which eventually caused issues because... Well, not necessarily issues. For whatever reason in that campaign, the British were having serious issues with unrest. I don't know why. I guess they were just getting really unlucky with their events or something because I was not blockading them. I had nothing in Northern Europe. And I was just slowly trying to take New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and things like that. And they eventually ended up with a rebellion occurring, which forced both them and Russia to the negotiation table, allowing me to take basically whatever the hell I wanted. It did result in Britain going communist, though, which has its own set of issues because fascists and communists, they get a nice little thing where they can declare basically a war as a total war, which, when that happens, results in you not being able to easily make peace. So, yeah, that hurts. So I think that's gonna be that's gonna be it for this part. Next part we'll continue this war. It's gonna go on and on forever, I'm sure. And we're probably gonna be constant back and forth, in the lead, behind, in the lead, behind. Because it's just a pain to fight the British. It really is, especially in the early game. Again, if this happened later when I had more of a fleet, that'd be one thing. This is much too early to be fighting the British, though. To be completely honest, it really is. I may actually take those battleships out of the Caribbean. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna do that. Those battleships I have in the Caribbean, I kind of need them in the East Coast, or on the East Coast. So we're gonna ship them up north. I'm gonna save, and I will see you all next time.